Sam Dickinson makes a big-time statement in his quest to be on the opening night San Jose Sharks roster.
You're Locked On Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, welcome to Locked On Sharks, the premier hockey podcast covering your favorite team in the Bay Area. My name is JD Young, caretaker at the Reef, and also the co-host of Locked On NHL. I want to thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first listen. Proudly part of the Locked On Network. We cover your team every day. And if you want to be an everydayer, all you have to do, just follow along wherever you get podcasts. And of course, you can watch on YouTube as well. And today we're breaking down the Sharks 3-0 preseason win over the Vegas Golden Knights. We're going to be talking about the rookies, Sam Dickinson, Misa, and Quentin Musty, who all look impressive. Tonight, we're going to be looking at the new veterans and the impacts they made. Goaltender Alex Nedeljkovic, John Klingberg, Jeff Skinner, all guys having big-time impacts. And then we'll dig into some of the numbers, even though it's a preseason game. We'll dig into some numbers as well. So we have to start, though, with the rookies, right? And I'm going to start with Sam Dickinson, he's pretty good, guys. Dickinson tonight, and again, like, you have 100% keep in mind, like, we're going to overreact a little bit because that's what we're going to do. But it's a preseason game. Vegas is rolling out like a very bottom six AHL heavy roster, right? None of their top guys are playing or anything like that. And the Sharks, they have some of their veterans out there like Toffoli and Skinner and, like their first pairing with Leddy and John Klingberg, et cetera, et cetera. So like the Sharks definitely had a better, more talented roster on the ice. That's fine. We're going to, focus on the plays and what the guys did. And I thought Sam Dickinson tonight, I thought he had played pretty well overall. I thought Sam Dickinson took a big step tonight, right, for the Sharks. Again, I know it's preseason, but you saw plays that made Sam Dickinson show why Sam Dickinson is special, especially with his ability to play in, in the transition and create offense, and then also knowing when to kind of jump into plays. You saw all that. You saw some of the mistakes that Dickinson will need to work on, and that's that internal clock of I don't have the time in the NHL to do some of the stuff I got away with in the OHL. And that's going to be a learning process. But overall, you have to feel really good about Sam Dickinson's first step in trying to, not only make the opening night roster, but stick around for the entire season. And I thought Dickinson played really well tonight. I loved when he had to get back on his horse. There was that play where it was basically like a one-on-one type of situation. And, he's kind of a half a step behind, but he's able with that 6'3" size of his, right? That he's able, in that reach of his, that he's able to get around and make a great play. I think it's Alexander Holtz for Vegas, able to make a play to shut that, what could have been a one-on-one type of situation for, and then not having Nedeljkovic have to kind of make a big time save there, right? His ability also just to kind of get the puck out of the zone, whether it's through passes or whether it's through him carrying the puck. I thought he did a pretty good job with his selection of that. And, sometimes he pinches where he probably want him to kind of, hold back a little bit, and that's going to be a learning experience with him. Again, it's that what can I get away with in the NHL learning experience, and we see with every player, right? Will Smith went through the same thing last year, but I thought tonight we saw you saw mostly positive stuff from Dickinson. Then and yes, there was some negative stuff as well, but I think you have to walk away feeling really good about Dickinson's first game of the preseason and his road to not only making the team, but being like a long time Sharks. Dickinson's gonna be a massive core piece. So huge night, I think, for Sam Dickinson. We'll stick with, we're going to be talking all OHL guys here to start this first segment, but Misa tonight, like he was one of those players you really wanted to watch to see how he did, right? And he was playing with Toffoli, right? You got the veteran Tyler Toffoli, and you play with Quentin Musty. We'll talk about Musty here in a second, but Michael Misa, like just that you saw a lot of the positive stuff from Misa and why he's so polished already at such a young age, right? And you saw Warsofsky and the crew give him opportunities late, right? Down up by 2 goals with 50 seconds left. Trying to, with the empty net, trying to put it away. Misa's out there winning big draws, and leads to an eventual kind of nail in the coffin there from Toffoli. But Misa, with his pace, the style of play that he plays, made some good zone, good decisions, and had some good plays in the defensive zone as well, trying to help shut down plays. And one of my favorite things about Misa is his ability to always kind of just know where to go and be in that right place at the right time. And I thought he did a great job of that tonight, especially you see Misa where, okay, if I don't have the puck, what am I doing? I'm going to in the offensive zone, right? I'm going to the net. I'm going to try to kind of find that right angle to get myself open. And you saw that tonight, both on the power play and at 5-on-5, especially 5-on-5, right? It's just crash to net. And that takes a lot for an 18-year-old kid to just be like, I'm going to crash the net, as especially against some, again, I know Vegas doesn't have out their big boy defensemen, but Vegas, they like those big boy defensemen in the AHL too. And I thought Misa showing that already, just that, I'm not scared. I'm going to go to the net, and that's where I'm going to make my living, because that's where I've been making my living my entire career. I think that's a really nice sign for him. I thought he played really well. You see just that super calm, super steady type of performance from him. He's well on his way to being the second line center for this team. I thought he played really well, especially in the defensive zone, that detail, and kind of, again, trying, for the most part, being in the right place at the right time, and utilizing his teammates well. So, and the other line mate, right, Quentin Musty tonight, again, same thing, right? With all these guys, showed a lot of goods, had some, kind of mistakes here and there. I think it was the end of the second period, right, where there was 8 seconds left, and Musty is trying to do a little too much there, which is fine. And that's gonna be one of those things where the coaches are just dump it in and kill the period, right? We don't need to try to do too much here. But Musty, you see just the forechecking and the back checking, and that kind of, playing with the kind of always going and always trying to use that motor. And that was always kind of like the OHL, where, yes, he had to play a lot more, and he was asked to do a little bit of different role, right, with trying to score and the production. But you're seeing that transition, right? And that's going to make Musty a better player long term, is that ability to be a heavy forechecker and to back check and to kind of play every shift to the whistle. And you'll see the production coming, right? And he got an assist tonight, but you see some of the that production will start to come, and maybe trying to, in the offensive zone, I know some people were kind of complaining about, well, some of his passes didn't get through and stuff like that, and that stuff will happen, right? And especially after, again, we're in preseason game 1, right? These guys have played together for all of 4 days right now. And when Musty spends some time in the AHL and getting used to the chemistry with his teammates, et cetera, you will see that stuff start to connect, because Musty is just too skilled. I am very high on Quentin Musty this year, and I think he's going to remind a lot of people how we were feeling after the 23-24 season with Quentin Musty, when he went on a rampage in the OHL. I'm not saying he's going on a rampage in the AHL, but I think he's going to maybe quiet some doubters, and, again, just kind of remind Sharks fans, remind a lot of people why he was so highly touted, and why the Sharks definitely got a steal with him at pick 26 in that draft. So, but overall, you have to feel really good about it, especially these 3 young players. Not to say that the other guys didn't play well, et cetera. We'll talk about some of some of the other guys here in a little bit, but I was really impressed with I think you can't really ask much better of a start for these guys and how they played. And Dickinson had 2 primary assists tonight. That Will Smith, we're not going to talk much Will Smith tonight, but Will Smith looks like he's picking up right where he left off last year. Absolute ridiculous pass from Smith, but then Dickinson, right, knowing when to jump in, gets the pass over, and Skinner just taps it. We'll talk more about that here in a minute, but so Dickinson with 2 assists tonight. Musty had an assist as well. And then Will Smith had an assist. So yes, pretty. And Misa, he was in the mix tonight pretty well too. So we'll talk about some of these veteran guys like Klingberg and like Skinner, et cetera, and Nedeljkovic here. We'll talk about some of their additions and off to a good start for some of these guys here. So we'll get to that in just 1 second. Most people can't even name all of their financial accounts or what they're worth, whether it's 401ks or investments. When you don't have the full picture, you can end up leaving money on the table. That's why there's Monarch Money. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or on your phone. Monarch is built for people with busy lives. If you've been putting off organizing your finances, Monarch is there for you. Monarch does the heavy lifting. You can link all your accounts in minutes, see clear data visuals, get smart categorization of your spending, and finally feel control of your money without ever touching a spreadsheet. It's like your own personal Puckpedia, people. And the great thing about it, too, is maybe if you and your partner, you have separate accounts, but you have shared goals, whether it's buying a house, buying a car, or just planning your next adventure, they help make it super easy. So don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONNHL at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code LOCKEDONNHL. All right, before we continue, do of course want to thank you for making the Locked On Sharks your first listen. For your second listen, check out the Locked On NHL podcast. There's no off season, and of course the off season's now over. We're bringing you the daily league-wide stories that matter the most with local coverage you love from Locked On. Find Locked On NHL on YouTube, wherever you listen to podcasts. So the veterans, John Klingberg, goal tonight, Jeff Skinner, goal tonight, and Alexander Nedeljkovic, a shutout in his first appearance in teal. Let's start with Nedeljkovic, right? And I think for Sharks fans, right, where the past couple seasons it has been a who's who in net, getting inconsistent goalie play with the exception of Mackenzie Blackwood, right? And the hope now is no matter if it's Askarov or Nedeljkovic, and again, both players are going to have their ups and downs, but you feel confident about the goaltending. And again, it is 1,000,000% preseason, and Vegas did not have anywhere near an NHL roster tonight, right? But Nedeljkovic made some big saves. You saw like there was a breakaway on Alexander Holtz that he stopped right after the power play late in the third. You saw the lateral movement from him getting from one side to another on a couple of plays. And you saw the puck handling. Like, we are going to be in an adventure this year when it comes to the puck handling from goalies from Askarov and Nedeljkovic, both good and bad. But like if Nedeljkovic can just be like an NHL average goalie, and if Askarov can be an NHL average goalie in his first full season, that is going to be a huge confidence booster for the Sharks. And for like, you're not just rolling out Alexander Georgiev or AHL guys or whomever. Like, having legitimate goaltending is going to do wonders for this team, right? And I'm not expecting a shutouts constantly from Nedeljkovic, but I mean, you can't get much better than that from a starting point for Nedeljkovic. So and again, just having real legitimate NHL goaltending it's going to do wonders for this team. So, but yeah, he looked very good tonight, and very confident with the puck handling. There's a reason why he scored multiple goals in the NHL. And he scored goals in the AHL, and he scored a goal in the ECHL. There's a reason why, is because of that puck handling there. But I think with both Skinner and Klingberg, with the Edmonton boys here, Klingberg, right, like on the power play there, just that ability to generate offense and get that puck to the net. I thought Klingberg moved pretty well tonight. I also like where he kind of like you saw this a couple times, right, where he knows his limitations, but he's also smart enough to kind of come those, right, where the physical limitations of like I know I can't run that guy down because he's just faster than me, so I'm just going to take a better line, right, that way to help push him out, into like just kind of help push him out and kind of help keep a shot from turning it into a high danger shot and keep it as a low danger shot, right? Kind of from the side of the net where Nedeljkovic can play it, and even time there was one play where like Klingberg was kind of standing there and there was a free shooter and he just doesn't move. And at first I was like, why didn't he move? But then it kind of it's like, well, if you move, you're blocking your goaltender. You have to trust your goalie, Nedeljkovic, who's playing really well tonight, to be able to read it, right? And then you were there in case there's a rebound, you're in perfect position for a rebound to kind of clear it up. But Klingberg, like you saw, there was early in the first period where he read a play and was walking down to have an absolute clean shot, but somebody poked it away at the very last second. I think he's going to help. Again, like he's a guy who's on a mission this year to help reestablish his brand and reputation as an offensive defenseman. I think he's going to get plenty of opportunities from the Sharks this year because I think he's already that guy. I thought Nick Leddy was moving pretty well tonight as and his playing as his partner. I'm assuming that's going to be your top pairing right there is Klingberg and Leddy, or at least that's going to be they're going to get a lot of run together. Maybe your third pair, maybe your second pair. Who knows how the Sharks do it? But that's going to be a pair. And I thought they played pretty well together. And, and if Leddy is back to being himself and gets his speed back, that's a good sign for San Jose. And then Jeff Skinner, I said it all off season as soon as they signed him. That man's a professional goal scorer. The Sharks, right? You got Tyler Toffoli walking 30 goals. You got Jeff Skinner, who's going to give you a walking 25 goals if he's playing top 6 minutes, right? And they're kind of the style that they play where it's like get to the net, kind of get your stick down and kind of score some of those goals. And you saw it on the Jeff Skinner goal, right? Will Smith does something awesome. You have Sam Dickinson there at the right place at the right time reading it. And what does Jeff Skinner do? He goes to the net and he puts his stick down and Sam Dickinson basically shoots the puck off of his stick into the net. And if Misa is playing with Skinner, which is kind of, if Skinner's playing with Celebrini and Will Smith and you let those two kids run around and do a bunch of cool stuff, and Jeff Skinner's there just crushing, one-timers or scoring some greasy goals, that'll work, guys. Like that will work if that's how that line works. Like Jeff Skinner, I thought, again, right, guy who's played a bajillion NHL games. It's the first game but good sign from him tonight, and I think he's going to add that more scoring there, just because of the style of hockey that he plays. So, I'd also I 100% want to bring up with Philip Kurashev, who's playing on that top line there, kind of playing as a center. So a little bit out of position there, but Kurashev, I thought, looked really good tonight, was all over the ice making plays. Kind of just all those little detail plays. He had a little mini breakaway that he got denied on, but I thought Kurashev was playing really well tonight. A guy who, again, looking for a fresh start after last year, 100% was not what he was expecting. You're hoping it's not the Kevin LeBanc thing, right, where he scores 54 points and then he just struggles to kind of ever reach that plateau again. But I think, though, for Kurashev, having that flexibility. He played on the penalty kill a little bit tonight as well. He was kind of all over the ice. I think just having that in your back pocket for the Sharks, and as a guy who can play in the middle six, kind of play in the bottom six, I think he played pretty well tonight too, and it's good to see him kind of hopefully get back to form here. So we're going to kind of dig into some of the numbers this game. Again, I know it's a preseason game, but it's fun to look at the numbers and how the lines did. We'll talk about some of the other guys here in just 1 second. The NFL season is here, and FanDuel's making sure you're ready for a kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5. If your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Great thing about FanDuel is they have plenty of ways to play. Player props. So if you had, I don't know who would know, it was a really quiet game in like fantasy. But anyway, player props, you have same game parlays going on, or if you jump into live action, maybe you had the Eagles in the second half type of performance type of thing. So they make every game more exciting, and they add a little bit more energy to Sundays. So if you're ready to play, download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet. I'm also super excited to tell you about my new favorite pair of jeans. That is from Dewar. I've been living in their performance denim straight jeans, and honestly, they've completely changed the game for me. I love Dewar jeans because, one, they look great, right? It's important that you look good in the clothes that you wear, or at least you feel like you're looking good. But two, they also feel great. They're super stretchy, but they don't look stretchy, which is important. They combine classic jeanswear style with the kind of comfort and performance you expect from athletic wear, the best of both worlds. And there's a reason why they call them the world's most comfortable pants. But don't take my word for it. Go try a pair on for yourself. Dewar opened a store in Hayes Valley. You can feel the difference firsthand. Go check them out at 567 Hayes Street. Mention our promo code LOCKEDONSF in store to get 15% off your first order, or check them out online at shopdewar.com/LockedOnSF for 15% off. That's shopdewar.com/LockedOnSF. All right, let's finish up by checking out the numbers behind this game. So the Sharks did a really good job of kind of taking control in the second period. Pretty slow start from them. Vegas kind of definitely, owned this at 5-on-5. The shot attempts, it was 18-9 in the first period. Second period, all Sharks 21-5 at 5-on-5, and about a little under 16 minutes there of 5-on-5 action. Then the third period, Vegas really pushed back there, as you would expect. When they're down by 2 goals. But I thought the Sharks, though, they took advantage of their scoring, like their opportunities, right? So they didn't get a lot of shots, especially in the third period. But they took advantage, and they had good quality over quantity, which is what you would expect when you're kind of holding the lead there. But second period definitely tells the story of this game. 21-5 shot attempts for San Jose, 11-4 scoring chances. Actual shots, though, 11-2 in favor of San Jose. 4-1 high danger chances, 0.91 to 0.11 expected goals for. Sharks in the second period were the better team in this game. Altogether, though, in about 48 minutes of 5-on-5 play, the shot attempts were 40-39 in favor of San Jose. Actual shots for at 5-on-5 was 16-19 in favor of Vegas. Scoring chances 21-15 in favor of San Jose. 6-8 high danger chances in favor of Vegas. But then a 1.41 to 0.91 expected goals for in favor of San Jose. The forward line, so leading the ice time, of course, was the Musty line. The nice thing in this game is you were able to really kind of roll your lines because especially after the second period, Musty, Misa, Toffoli played 10-40 together. 7-11 shot attempts, 6-7 actual shots, 0.35 to 0.16 expected goals for, 5-5 scoring chances for that line. So we talked about those Musty and Misa pretty well, kind of early on. So Skinner, Kershaw, Smith played 951, 8 to 9 shot attempts in favor of Vegas. 2 to 3 actual shots, had a goal, 0.34 to 0.07 expected goals allowed. So they were giving up shot attempts, but they were all super low quality, while that line was able to kind of generate more offense and more actual like legitimate scoring, 5 to 3 scoring chances, 3 to 1 high danger chances for that line. So that line played really well. And once you take Kershaw out and put Macklin Celebrini in there, I think that line's going to do they're going to do pretty well together. So, and then, so we'll spend some time kind of talking about the bottom 6 here. So, Afasaniev, Ostapchuk, and Colin Graff, they played 846, 6 to 4 shot attempts, 4 to 2 actual shots, 0.21 to 0.28 expected goals for. I thought Graff was a little quiet tonight, which is okay. I thought Afasaniev, you saw like kind of some of the stuff that makes him intriguing. You especially see the size there. Ostapchuk, he unfortunately feels like he's kind of picking up where he left off last year, where it kind of feels like the play dies with him, unfortunately. So again, I think spending some time in the AHL is going to probably be what's best for him right now. But I do like Afasaniev. He's going to be a guy who's probably going to have to get through waivers here at some, to get down to the Barracuda. But you could definitely see those two guys, especially bigger guys like that, kind of working together in the AHL. And if you put some scoring touch with him, maybe a guy like Kasper Halttunen, that's not a bad third line in the AHL there. Like that line will definitely do work though. So Pavel Regenda, Jimmy Huntington, and Anthony Vincent played 649, 8 to 9 shot attempts, 4 to 1 actual shots, 0.24 to 0.03 expected goals for, 3 to 1 scoring chances, 1 to nothing high danger chances. Huntington, I think of those lines like Vincent, if you're a Barracuda fan, you know exactly what Anthony Vincent's bringing to the table. Like he is a no nonsense, straightforward type of player. And he plays like every shift is his last shift ever. And he continued to play like that tonight. Regenda won. I forgot that he had to change his number because of Michael Misa. So I was like, why is Jan Ruda back on this team? When did that happen? And then I was like, oh yeah, that's right, it's Regenda. So it took me a little bit to get used to that. But I think Regenda's going to have a big year for the Barracuda, and hopefully he gets a chance to kind of get some NHL run here at some point as for him too. Defensively, we talked about Leddy and we talked about Dickinson. I thought Dickinson and Darnay's played pretty well together. Luca Cagnoni and Cole Clayton. Interesting there because that is probably going to be your top pairing defense with the Barracuda. And Luca Cagnoni looks like he's in midseason form already. Like he's so he's such a monster, guys. Like Cagnoni is so good. I cannot wait for him to, one, dominate the AHL again this year, and two, get up to the NHL and be a full-time NHLer. Like he's so smooth with the skating. He's so good with the puck. Like he's just like, he finds these little angles to get the puck at the net, and he's works hard in the defensive zone. He's way better in the defensive zone than he gets credit for. He's so freaking good. If he was 6 foot instead of 5'9", like he would have been a first round pick. Like I 100% believe that. Like he would have been like a top 20 pick because of the way he plays hockey. But because he's only 5'9", right? I'll say it, and I'll say it a million times. Guys his size, like the small defensemen in the NHL, they're either extremely good or they don't make it. I'm betting on that he's extremely good. So, but yeah, overall though, like nobody got hurt. The Sharks, I thought, played after a little scrambly first period. The Sharks played really well. You saw a lot of impressive stuff from your young players. Again, nothing was perfect, except for Alexander Nedeljkovic, because he's perfect. Nothing was perfect, but you saw way more positive than negatives, and you saw stuff to build upon. You saw what makes all these young players super special. So you got to feel really good about preseason game 1. Unfortunately, we don't get another preseason game till Friday, so it'll be a fun week this week as we kind of dig into training camp some more. We'll look at kind of how kind of stock up, stock down, as we tend to do on Locked On Sharks during training camps. We'll look at that probably midweek. So plenty of great stuff here at Locked On Sharks. Make sure you're following along wherever you get podcasts. Of course, you can watch on YouTube. The road to 5K is it's getting close, kids. It's getting close. So also follow the show on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and on TikTok. Follow me on Twitter and Blue Sky at my fry hole. Till tomorrow. Bye, friends.